party people. Yeah. Welcome back to the 25th episode of the Unfinished Business Podcast. Can you believe it's already been
Big
25
milestone.
episodes?
Big milestone.
A quarter of a century mark.
Still on that road to
of
100.
3 short months.
3 months already. Wow.
Bit of a headache. So,
Yeah.
since it's the end of the week, the Calm Daddy, how was your week? What'd you do?
Pretty good. What did I do this week? This is my second week teaching tennis programs, which is pretty nice. Last week was hot as heck.
Because you own tennis, right?
Basically, more or less.
Yeah.
This week was less hot, but it was so fun. What else did I do? Like, honestly, bro, like, all I do is I live at those tennis courts. I bought some
Not
few
shaping the mullet on the back there?
No, not yet. I'm still. If you try to book a haircut at this point, just so like the one I go to, it's
No, but you're
booked up.
keeping it, right?
Oh,
Like,
I'll keep
forever.
it now. Like, at this point,
graduation, I'm expecting a mullet.
I'll just
Just
keep
shave the
it, I guess.
sides. Just do a homemade cut. Shave the sides,
I'm not going
and then it's
mullet
really
again.
gonna be a mullet.
I'm not doing an actual mullet.
Absolutely.
No, but before I ask you how your weekend was, I just want to remind everyone about the 2K21 giveaway. We're still doing that on the road to 100. We have quite a few bit more submissions. All you have to do, remember, is DM us on Instagram, proof that you follow us on Insta and sub to us on YouTube, and then you're entered into the draw right away. Still doing that until we hit 100 subs. Then back to business. How was your week? I know you went golfing today. How was golfing?
Yeah. Got an email on Thursday for club championships on Simcoe Day weekend, so it's the prep to that episode for that week. It's gonna be a lot of golf talk, so just prepare yourself. So it's all prep for that. Shot 76 today. Can't complain at all with the 76. Full send balls were in full effect. Can't wait to get the unfinished business brand balls.
Yeah.
But I know this week, I don't know if you've seen that TikTok trend with the couples. Like, they put on different clothing. Like, the guys were the girls and the girls were the guys. My buddy did this, and we're going to share it today because it's priceless. And it has to happen. It's just too funny. Hopefully the technology is going to cooperate with us. It's going to. And boom. Here it is. Lost all respect for him. Out the window. So he's going to hear from everybody.
Can't catch me doing that. I'm sorry.
I think at some point.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Couple pink wits in you.
Kate, maybe then. Yeah.
Well, we're going to skip right back into the week that was. So the NFL, again, leading the headlines as usual in the last couple of weeks. Washington is in the news again for all the wrong reasons. A report surfaced on Thursday that 15 former female employees came out and said that they were sexually harassed during the period from 2009 to 2019. This included some members of owner Dan Snyder's inner circle, who's looking like he's going to become one of the worst owners in all of NFL history. We've been stemming. The only person who didn't remain anonymous through this whole thing out of the 15 was Emily Applegate, who began working with the organization in 2014. She and a coworker would meet every day to, quote, commiserate and cry about the frequent sexual harassment and verbal abuse they endured. Snyder has declined several requests to speak upon the situation, and resulting, 2 members of the team's player personnel have been fired even before the story was leaked, and now we know why. One of the 2 fired is Alex Santos, who happens to be the team's director of pro personnel, which you never see fired before training camp or before our season starts. As well, he was accused of sexual harassment by 6 of the former employees and 2 reporters. The other man was Richard Mann, II, who was his team's assistant director of pro personnel. And they haven't disclosed what kind of harassment he endured or how many personnel that he did this to. And as well, COO Mitch Gershman was also named in the report made by Applegate. So she also believed that former team president Bruce Allen knew about the situation because he saw her crying on several occasions. Snyder was accused of fostering an abusive work environment by berating several employees and creating a toxic environment that set an example for his subordinates. The organization has also had an understaffed human resources department, which made reporting sexual harassment difficult. So, what is your take on this whole fiasco?
It just adds on to more situations that there are in Washington. First of all, with their name and their logo, that's been a recurring thing where it's been in the media all the time, and now this. And I feel like, well, when this has been going on for 2009, and this is the first we've heard about it, it's kind of ridiculous. Obviously, the people who are being harassed, it's hard for them to come out and say that they are being harassed. So I'm not ridiculous on their end, but ridiculous that he's done this and his inner circle have done this. I just think it's time for it's like it's time for him to just sell the team or him to not be the owner anymore. He's just making a bad reputation for the
Yeah,
organization. It's just awful.
I kind of like trying to rewind for a bit. If you remember the whole Donald Sterling
Yeah,
scandal, it's
yeah,
kind of borderlining on that. Obviously, there's not the race part of it like Donald Sterling was, but just how big of a scandal it is because you really don't see it in the NFL. But
hmm
I remember like Redskins really haven't had a great reputation to begin with. Like I remember that South Park episode. I would like to say in 2014,
yeah,
Washington Redskins, go fuck yourselves.
yeah, yeah.
Like they don't care about anybody and what they think or whoever thinks anything about them. Like it's just I'm gonna do my thing and screw everybody else. But they're not going to be going by the Redskins anymore. We know that now. So should be very curious to see what the name's going to be in the near future. The league also will be conducting an investigation into the disturbing claims made, and the league will, quote, take action based on the findings. And Washington has fully cooperated with the league for an investigation. So hopefully we're going to hear the fallout for next week's episode.
Yeah.
As well in football news, not the less important football news. Edmonton Eskimos of the CFL announced via TSN's Ryan Rashog that they will also be making a name change. So another team that's going to have to succumb to the pressure of, or financial pressure, I should say, because really I don't know if they would change their name, but a huge sponsor in Bel Air Direct for all the Canadians who know Bel Air Direct are starting to pull out their stake in the organization, which is a huge loss for them financially. So they have to make a name change. So possible names that you like for the Eskies?
I don't know, maybe like the Edmonton Huskies. I
I
like.
guess.
I know you want to keep that like northern idea, right? And they'll have to change their logo, obviously, because it's the double E's.
Well,
So
that's what I'm
they're
saying. Like I would
yeah.
think I would say the Edmonton Empire, just
So
to
they
keep
stay
the
with
E,
the
just,
East.
just to stay
Yeah,
with the E. So they
yeah,
don't have to change anything except the name.
yeah.
Keep the colors.
Empire's a good one.
I know, stop being me. I'm hiring for marketing if anyone wants it. The newest members of the Madden 99 club have been pouring in recently. The 5 members that have been announced so far is obviously Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP. Well, LA
Uh,
Rams defensive end Aaron Donald for the
like
4th straight
fourth.
year.
Yeah, jeez.
Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey, no surprise. Kind of a surprise for me is Stephon Gilmore, your Patriots corner. I do not think he was going to be the highest rated corner in the game,
Yeah,
personally. I don't know. I think I would have saw maybe Jalen Ramsey being that number, but
I don't
obviously
think
had
he
the
would have
best
been
season.
99.
Or no, but I don't think. I guess, but that's just
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
And the best receiver in all football, Mr. Mike Thomas, New Orleans Saints wideout, have been named so far. So, do you expect anyone else to be named in the 99 club?
I'm trying to think of like other big names, but like you have those guys there on defense and offense. Obviously, it's been Stephon Gilmore. I thought he's deserving of it, but he was deserving of it like a couple seasons ago, right? Like he's been good for a long time. Now he's not where he was then, but he's still very, very, very good. So being finally getting to that 99, I think is a good accomplishment for him. I don't think anyone else will be named to the 99 club. I don't. Do you think anyone will?
I think one more will, and it's going to be the newest member of the Arizona Cardinals, Mr. DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
He
that's
should be
true.
named. He should be named, but I don't know if they will because 2 wide receivers being 99 overall. I don't know, but that's just me. And biggest surprise in Madden ratings so far for me, it's Richard Sherman being the 3rd highest rated cornerback in the game at 92 overall. He should not be the 3rd highest quarterback in the game. With all due respect to Richard Sherman, I think a lot of guys should be way above him in overall, and that's just myself speaking. Like Trey White of the Bills is 90 overall. He should be higher than Richard
He
Sherman.
should be higher. Yeah, Tre'Davious is very, very good.
That's just one person. Like Patrick Peterson, I think, is better than Richard Sherman. But
yeah.
I don't know. The 49ers kind of killed the game last year in defense, but it wasn't all Richard Sherman. But he gets the benefit for it. So that's just me.
Something I'm teased about is that J.J. Watt is rated as high as he is. I think for like
He barely played this year.
I'm saying like that's why I'm like, why is he rated so high? And then you have T.J. Watt, who was listen to this. He has a third best defense rating out of everyone last year. No, that wasn't them. That was Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson. But him and Cam Hayward were very, very good. And TJ's only rated an 86, which I think he should be rated at least a 90. And he's not in the top 10 for defensive backs. And then also Minka Fitzpatrick.
I was just going to look up his number.
He was like
I don't think he's in the top 10, is he?
He's not top 10 either, man. And I'm saying that because I'm a Steelers fan, but like that's what I pay attention to. And seeing those guys with the seasons they've had, so even TJ Watt just baffles me. He's like an 86. That's just crazy.
Minka Fitzpatrick is at 87 overall.
And I think they should both be at least 90. In my opinion, they should both be at least. Minka, I should feel like 89, 90. TJ should be like 92, 93 for me.
Crazy talk.
But
do they have a comeback player of the year for NFL?
Do they? I don't
Or
know.
most improved. Excuse me. They have a comeback player of the year. Do they have a most improved? I don't think they do. I think the NBA is the only one that has that. Because if there was, Minka Fitzpatrick should win it.
Oh, yeah.
I should say.
After this, yeah. After getting traded from Dolphins.
Yeah, but we stick with the AFC North Division with my Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield speaks. They will sign Myles Garrett to a 5-year, $125 million contract extension with $100 million in guaranteed shmoney.
So they're giving away money to a convict.
Yeah, I was like convicted felon. The extension will not kick in until the start of the 2022 season when his rookie deal expires. So he's going to be under contract with the club till the end of the 2027 season. Are you going to be looking forward to seeing Myles Garrett sack Roethlisberger for another 7 years?
Or maybe hit him in the top of the head with a helmet. I don't know. But
so I guess you're over it then, eh?
Well, it won't be Ben Roethlisberger because Ben Roethlisberger will not be playing by the year 2027. Oh, if there is going to be a most improved player this year, a comeback player, it will be Ben Roethlisberger. Mark my words, you heard it here first on Unfinished Business. That's no cap. No
not
cap,
JJ?
Sir. No,
not JJ.
Not JJ. It'll be Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben's coming back slinging it. Just you wait.
Maybe slinging back a hot dog in one hand and a hamburger in another.
Hey, he can't go down. That's the thing. Myles Garrett can try, but he's Big Ben for a reason.
First of all, in his first NFL game, on his first NFL snap, Myles Garrett sacked Ben Roethlisberger, okay?
Good for him.
Thank you.
How many games
He will become the highest paid defensive player in football on a per annual basis. So Garrett was the number 1 overall pick in the 2017 NFL draft. Probably the best draft pick the Browns have had since they came back in the league in '99.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That's Joe Thomas. He does have a total of 37.5 sacks in his career. He was probably the leading candidate for Defensive Player of the Year before, the helmet incident. He did have 10 sacks in 10 games. Just okay. The Tennessee Titans signed running back Derrick Henry to a 4-year, $50 million contract extension, which entails $25.5 million in guaranteed cash. He made his first Pro Bowl last season after leading the NFL in carries, rushing yards, and rushing touchdowns. In 3 playoff games last season, the 26-year-old Henry basically carried the Tennessee team by adding 446 monstrous yards and 2 scores. Since 2018, he ranks second in the NFL with 2,599 rushing yards. I mean, just dive maybe a me spot would give you 2,600, but I don't know. The refs are corrupt anyway. And 28 touchdowns. Henry did sign a $10.2 million franchise tag in April, but both sides did get a long-term deal done before the Wednesday franchise tender deadline.
Right before the deadline.
I think he's getting severely underpaid.
I think so as well. Running backs are always underpaid in this league. That's the thing.
But I don't know. I think he's got to prove himself. He had one great year. So, I mean, you can't really,
But he's a monster, man.
But I don't know. Yeah, exactly. He's huge. He's, 240?
Yeah.
He's a
he
machine, and he runs
he
quick.
makes
Like, he's got a 99-yard touchdown to his name.
you see him like standing beside Mark Ingram, and it's like, oh my goodness, the comparison you would think this guy is a defensive back, like he could block him for sure.
Yeah, I've been told that kind of look. I'm like, you see the pythons on the end? What? Not a big deal. How are you? But yeah, the Titans are winning the offseason right now. They managed to lock down their franchise running back and Ryan Tannehill both long term. So
Hmm.
maybe this is the winning key for success for Mike Vrabel's team. But we did mention the franchise tendered Wednesday deadline. So the players that will play under franchise tag next season, and there are some staggering names. The
Yeah,
highest of the list being Cowboys quarterback, the most overrated player in football, Dak Prescott. As well, Cincinnati Bengals franchise receiver A.J. Green. He signs an $18.2 million franchise tag. Washington guard, three-time Pro Bowler Brandon Sheriff. Second-team All-Pro and Patriots guard Joe Toney. Pro Bowler Ravens linebacker Matthew Judon. Jaguars pass rusher Yannick Ngakoue. Probably will be playing for the Jaguars this season from how much trade speculations he's been bringing. Pro Bowl
yeah.
pass rusher for the New York Football Giants, Leonard Williams. Steelers pass rusher, Bud
I
Dupree.
know. Stop.
And
Keep
that makes
going.
you feel real good about yourself.
No.
Buccaneers pass rusher, Shaquille Barrett. Second team All-Pro safety for the Broncos, Justin Simmons. And Viking safety, Anthony Harris. There'll be some big money contracts next year.
Holy, I know. And then, yeah, we'll get into it more. But there's a lot of that one with Bud Dupree. With the Steelers, they're gonna have to sign a lot of people really fast. With the Jaguars, everyone just wants to get out of Jacksonville.
Florida? Cesspool. It's a
Yeah,
cesspool.
the cesspool.
Jason Peters will be returning to the NFL to his former team, the Philadelphia Eagles. The 38-year-old Peters signs a one-year contract worth $6 million, and he will be replacing Brandon Brooks on the O-line at the right guard position after Brooks tore his Achilles and will miss the entirety of the 2020 season. So Peters, probably a surefire Hall of Famer, has played his entire 11-year NFL career as a left tackle. I think this will make that transition no problem.
But yeah, I think he will. He's been playing the game for so long. Like you said, he's a Hall of Fame caliber player. I think he's gonna transition with ease if there's a season. If there's a season. If there's
Yeah,
a
like I don't know, like the NFC East is kind of like the shit box of the NFL. So like,
yeah.
there's really not much pass rushers to worry about in that division,
Mm-hmm.
personally speaking. Like maybe the Redskins can find some love with their front seven. Like we got the Alabama two guy or Chase Young.
Yeah,
Maybe
they got
Chase Young
Chase Young.
can wake up and do it for Washington, as well as like De'Aaron Payne, Jonathan Allen had various underwhelming careers to start it off with. So maybe they can find the love. But Cowboys, DeMarcus Lawrence, that's about it. Van Der Esch, if he plays, he was hurt most of last year. And the New York Giants, yeah.
Blank.
Seahawks tight end Greg Olsen will join Fox Sports as a color commentator after his football career.
What's the tight ends becoming commentators, man?
Witten, Greg Olsen. Oh, maybe. Maybe it's a trend. Texans wideout Kenny Stills was arrested in Louisville after facing charges while demanding justice for Breonna Taylor. He has since been, I don't know, like unarrested.
Released?
I don't know what.
Yeah.
Released. There's a better word. That's a better word. But crazy. You see high-profile players speaking out for justice, and they're treated the same as everybody else.
Yeah. It's hard to see still. Still
Rest in
going
peace,
on.
John Lewis, by the way.
Yeah,
Chiefs and defensive tackle Chris Jones agree on a 4-year, $85 million contract extension, which $60 million of it is guaranteed. It's good they got this done. I was surprised to see it being 4 years because of the Patrick Mahomes deal coming in play very soon. So maybe it's a very front-loaded contract. But reading the numbers here, I think it's safe to say that Chris Jones is making more money than Cam Newton. The Packers will have no fans for the 2020 NFL season. I think it's just I think the NFL is just mandate no fans at all because I think it's just going to save everybody a whole lot of time and a whole lot of stress.
And a whole lot of lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Potential 2021 free agency running back class is what's the term I'm looking for? Absolutely stacked.
Yeah.
The names that we're going to mention here is Jaguars running back Leonard Fournette, Vikings running back Dalvin Cook, Packers is Aaron Jones, the Bengals Joe Mixon, the Saints Alvin Kamara, the Broncos Philip Lindsay, the Colts Marlon Mack, the Cardinals Kenyon Drake, and the Falcons Todd Gurley. So who out of these names do you think is going to make it to free agency?
The one for sure in my mind, and we already talked about Jacksonville, is Leonard Fournette.
Really?
I think he just wants to get out of there as everyone else in that
I think he's going
organization
to get
does.
too much money. I think he's going to get
You
a lot
think
of
they're going
money.
to offer him a lot of money? Another person, though, who I think will leave, and it's because of how stacked their team is Alvin Kamara. Yeah, I see him just going somewhere else.
Oh.
I'm just predicting it. They're going to be happy. They have Michael Thomas on the team. Their defense is completely stacked. They're going to have I don't know, depending how they do in their regular seasons, they should be making the playoffs every single year with that team. So
Well, they do, no? Saints?
they do, but
Yeah. The team,
for
the
now,
player that I think I make it a free agency is Marlon Mack because the Colts just drafted Jonathan Taylor to be the franchise back. So I don't think Marlon Mack's going to be there long term. And as well, I don't think Aaron Jones is going to make it. I think he's going to
you
make it to free
don't
agency
think
too. No, because they kind of have like a two-back system in Green Bay. You have Williams and you have Aaron Jones. So, and I think Aaron Jones is going to want a lot of money because he puts up a lot of touchdowns for Green Bay. But I don't know. Maybe if Aaron Rodgers sticks around after next year, maybe a lot of that money can go towards Aaron Jones.
maybe.
The NFLPA has announced that 72 players have tested positive for COVID-19. There's no bubble for the NFL right now. You can just do whatever you want. So is these numbers kind of wishy-washy? Because I think they're testing. Well, if you do the math, it's almost about 10,000 people they're testing. So is this good or no, numbers-wise, in your mind?
Well, 72 players, and how many people have been tested?
I
How
would say
many?
roughly 10,000,
Well,
if
that's
not more.
good. If it's 72 players out of 10,000, obviously that's good. But you're also not sure, and they've come out and said this, like, you can get negative COVID test, but it doesn't mean you're negative. You should get, like, another one because some of the tests are faulty. So you don't know for sure. And then these players who are tested positive, how many people have they given it to? You really don't want anyone. You want the numbers to be as low as possible. 72, I guess, is pretty low. But I don't know.
One number is too much.
Yeah.
NFL is proposing $40 million to be cut from team spending. I don't know how that's going to work. Because I don't know. Like it sounds like it's going towards the cap, right? From what I'm
Yeah.
reading. So,
I don't think
and
so.
there is a lot of revenue sharing in the NFL. So
Mm-hmm.
who knows? And as well, August 1st will be the opt-out day for players. Right now, today's what, the 18th? Nobody has opted out of the season,
Yeah.
which is
Well,
kind of
that's their
shocking.
proposed, I think, opt-out date for now.
Well, they gotta make it up pretty soon because we're about
Exactly.
2.5 months, less than 2
I
months
know.
from the season starting.
Exactly. That's what I'm
Let's
saying.
go.
So they got to wake up.
Yes, sir.
NFL,
Wake up.
Always Jeremy Roenick comes to mind when we say wake up. But now to kick it off with some MLB. So we're going to talk about the Jays home game situation, even though we got kind of an update about that. But before we got the update, Lisa McLeod, who serves as the Minister of Heritage, Sport, Tourism, and Culture for the provincial government, said that the Jays have been given the okay to play home games at Rogers Center. And the federal government now said,
Just now.
yeah,
You heard it here
just today, the Jays can't play in Canada. And we asked you guys on Instagram, do you guys think it's okay do you guys feel safe if American teams came over and played in Toronto
for 3 days.
For 3 days? So because
Like
you're
at the
playing
max. At the max.
because you're playing those series. 53% of you said no. It's shocking that to me that 53 said no. I thought it'd be more.
Way higher.
Yeah, I thought it'd be way higher that said no. But I guess some of you are very optimistic about how things are going. But if we start to open our borders up, just
you might as
and
well,
see
right?
a spike.
Like you might as well.
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna allow American teams to come here, you might as well just open the border up.
Yeah, and then the spike's just
But I guess the
crazy.
the question now is baseball an essential service?
Which it's not.
Like because it's banned for non-essential travel.
Yeah.
So I guess you could say the same thing for hockey.
Yeah, but that's the thing for hockey. They're bubbling.
They're there. They're going to be here
stay
forever.
there.
Or not forever. Like you're one of us, one of us, one of us. No, like the earliest they can leave would be. Well, they're getting here on the 26th, as everyone gets into the bubble, and play-in, I believe, ends August 9th. So it's just under 2 weeks or just at 2 weeks. So
Hmm. I have a question for you then. Let's say we've already seen this. We'll get more into it, but we've already seen players say they have to leave the bubble for family emergencies. What do you think's going to happen if during the season the players want to leave for a family emergency? Like, are they able to come back? Should they be able to come back into the bubble after leaving during the season?
and
Like,
this
what
is
the season?
baseball,
No, for like NHL. This is just NHL, NBA, any sport.
and
Let's
this is for
say,
this season.
yeah, for this coming season. Let's say the season's already started,
They're
and then
allowed
they want
to.
to. They are allowed to leave for
Yeah.
family emergencies.
Yes.
They just have to quarantine again.
Yeah.
Okay,
But like,
that's risky again because you won't be
mhm.
able to play some games. You'll lose like some players for those games.
So with this news being reported now that the Jays aren't be able to play in Canada, kind of ruined the question I had. Was that like, do you think that teams would really follow the protocols if they were in Canada?
No,
Because like the
no.
Jays or the teams around them that would be playing, obviously, they could do whatever they want outside of the ballpark rather than the Jays being locked up at the Marriott Hotel right beside the Rogers Center. So like the teams would obviously have just to stay there and do nothing.
Yeah, I don't see the players
But
just obeying.
we don't know where they're going to be at now, and they start the season in less than a week.
Yeah, so we'll see, I guess. Mets ace Jacob DeGrom exits an inter-squad game due to back tightness, but is considered day to day, and they're
Saving
all
the fantasy team.
yeah, fantasy baseball. They're already missing Noah Syndergaard for the season due to Tommy John surgery, like the worst surgery you can get in baseball. So they're going to be down two like very good pitchers. So that's not good news. Oh, and we just talked about Yasuo Puig, I think last week, like last recap. So the Braves want to sign Yasuo Puig. They're going to sign Yasuo Puig, but they're not. They're not going to because he tests positive for COVID and says now he will not sign with the Braves.
Dick move
Which, yeah.
on the Braves' part. Like seriously, like
Oh, on
really,
the
like
Braves.
you could be well.
Yeah.
These stellar athletes are in pristine shape, and they're going to be fine, or hopefully fine from COVID, and it should be out of your system in 2 to 3 weeks. And like, why don't you sign him for the rest of the season? But no, we're not going to sign him anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Like, there's
Um,
players in the bubble that have COVID. Like, you're not seeing Russell Westbrook missing the season for COVID.
yeah, exactly. But you just gotta make sure he's quarantined. I'm pretty sure he came out and even said everyone be safe. Like you didn't think no one thought that a like healthy athlete could get it. He's feeling fine, but still like trying to tell everyone to be safe because we know that America is not the greatest country.
Stressful.
A-Rod would like to see a day in baseball where there is a salary cap. And this has been something where they've hidden this rule so far, like for in such a long time ago. It's just a rule that was written such a long time ago, and you can just hide your players in the minors, blah blah blah, and there's going to be no salary cap. What do you think this is ever going to be possible for there to be a salary cap in the MLB?
I would love it there to be a salary cap in
Yeah,
baseball because I hate the Yankees with the passion.
yeah,
And I think it was very ironic that it came from A-Rod because he was the guy who set records in contracts
yeah,
twice with the Yankees. So it's very ironic to hear from him. And he's trying to bid up for the Mets right now to own the
yeah,
Mets with the Crafts and J-Lo. And I love the Mets, so like that'd be awesome. But yeah, I think you see a huge power shift in baseball. But I don't know if you could like how you would be able to maneuver it because so many teams are like so rich in contracts that they're carrying right now. Like
yeah.
obviously the Yankees, the Dodgers are one of them. Both Sox aren't too far behind them. I don't think. So I don't know where they would have to limit the cap because they would obviously have to let players go.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I don't think it's possible. Obviously, I want it to happen, but right now, I don't see it happening in the
The
near
only
future.
way I could see it happening if there's an expansion in baseball.
Yeah,
You have to obviously to
which
take players to do it, and there's already 30 teams. So if you could do it an extra two,
yeah, 32
then
teams.
implement the cap because you're obviously going to have to protect players. Then you can do that, and then implement the cap, and it could work. Genius. But Selig, see you later. Rob Manfred, see you later.
Maybe. But some more COVID news in the MLB now. 6 more positive cases since the last week weekly week recap. Wow,
Week
can't speak.
weekly recap.
Which brings the total up to 23 out of 17,949 samples.
Real
So,
specific.
well, thanks. You're the one who put it there, Red. Yeah. So, what do you think about the new cases? Like
They're
the
not in a
number?
bubble. They're not in a
Yeah,
bubble. They can do whatever you
yeah,
want. So I mean, I think
yeah,
it's really good. It's really, really positive.
yeah. For not
No
being in
pun
a
intended,
bubble.
obviously.
Yeah,
But and about where everybody's located right now. Like you have a team in Arizona, you have a team in Florida, two teams in Florida. Yeah, two teams in Florida.
yeah,
So to see 20, just 23 in total and 6 just from a week is great.
yeah. Honestly, hopefully they're practicing social distancing.
Oh my
Uh,
good, Anthony Fauci.
the Nationals cleared to play home games in DC this season. I still don't think. I think if they do play games at home and everything, and this doesn't happen, there's going to be no fans, right?
Yeah, like the only
Yeah.
reason why we have
So,
that in there for the weekly recap is because that it was kind of in question if they were going to have home games in DC or not
mhm.
from a health official standpoint. So they just got the okay on Friday to play, and their first series is against the Jays. So
Exciting.
it could be honestly if the Jays don't have a home in a week and a half, might see back-to-back series in Washington.
Great. So bring the COVID back to us. Didi Gregorius is to wear he said he's going to wear a mask during games because of kidney condition. In my opinion, I don't think this is a smart move by him because he has the option to opt out, and I think he should have opted out because wearing a mask mainly protects him giving, like, let's say he had COVID, giving it to other people. So it's only if he's very concerned that he's gonna get COVID, he
Not play.
should make sure. Well, he should make sure all the other players are either all wearing masks or don't play at
Well,
all.
you're tested before you go on the field, right?
Yeah, I know,
So
but
like,
like then again, like we don't like how the season's gonna go. Players, well, there's no bubble or anything, so they can go do whatever, come back, and he's playing against one of them. Him wearing a mask won't do anything but prevent him giving it to other people. So
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, watching like Sportsnet really blessed everybody with two Jays inter squad scrimmages, and there were a couple players wearing masks, like Ruben Tejada and Lourdes Gurriel Jr. just pop up to mind. Both of them were wearing masks playing, and didn't really seem to hinder their play, like
Yeah.
running. Obviously, you could see them breathing the mask, obviously, but I should be curious to see if this really hinders your play or hinders your breathing. So I haven't heard it hasn't, from what I understand.
Well, doctors wear masks all the time doing surgery. You think they're
Yeah,
gonna
but you're
wear
not running
mask?
the bases.
You think they're heavily breathing doing surgery? You think it's gonna hinder their breathing? Come on, like I think that's the stupidest thing. Was oh, it hinders my breathing. Like
And it's also not in 100-degree weather. Like you're in.
shut up. No, I'm not saying about sports. I'm just saying people who are refusing to wear masks when
Oh
they're
yes,
supposed to. Like, come on, like just
you're
grow
here
up.
first. Listen to Mel. Come on. Back to some NHL talk. Rogers Place in Edmonton has quote significant water damage due to a very strong storm that passed through the area, where water was streaming through the entrance. Oilers though are confident that it won't obstruct the NHL's return to play. Is this God's way of saying don't play hockey?
Maybe or Mother Nature. Yeah, I think so. Maybe
Ooh.
put a hole on sports, maybe, but I don't. They said it's not a big deal. Like it's gonna be fine. So if they say it, gotta believe them for now, I guess.
Vegas Golden Knights goaltender Marc-Andre Fleury has been absent at practice for 5 straight days. They did acquire Robin Leonard at the trade deadline. Do you start a less than 100% flour, or you go with Robin Leonard
Robin Leonard.
for the round robin? Excuse me.
Robin Leonard. Robin Leonard is a good goaltender. He's underrated. He was stuck on a shitty Ottawa team. He was stuck on a shitty Buffalo team. Was he on someone before Buffalo? Chicago. He was on Chicago for a brief time, and then they got him. Uh, Vegas got him from Chicago, so he hasn't had. Wow, what just happened?
Slight technical difficulties. Lady Byng Trophy finalists have been announced: Ryan O'Reilly, Austin Matthews, Nathan McKinnon. Masterton Trophy finalists have been announced as well. Oscar Lindblom, Stephen Johns, and Bobby Ryan. Jack Adams Award finalists, John Tortorella, Alain Vigneault, and Bruce Cassidy. The Ted Lindsay Award finalists, Leon Draisaitl, Artemi Panarin, Nathan McKinnon. The Vezina Award finalists, Connor Hellebuck, Andrei Vasilevsky, and Tuukka Rask. And the Calder finalists have been announced, Cale Makar, Quinn Hughes, and Dominic Kubalik. Who are your favorites to win all of the awards here?
Okay, so we'll go my opinion, your opinion for each award here. Lady Byng Trophy is obviously the player who is the most exceptional player and demonstrates the best sportsmanship as well. So therefore, Austin Matthews is a write-off because he
No.
does not display any sportsmanship. If you don't remember, if you're an Ottawa Senators fan, you remember this, where him against Scott Savaret were talking, and he's just looking over, who are you? Who are you? After Scott, and right afterward, the game before or something, Scott Savaret was scoring goals out of nowhere, but Austin Matthews a bit too cocky for me. I like Nathan McKinnon and Ryan O'Reilly, but I think Ryan O'Reilly, he's really a fan favorite for a lot of people, and you don't really hear anything bad about him. Same with Nathan McKinnon, but I think Lady Byng will go to Ryan O'Reilly.
I think it goes to Matthews, and that's not just because I'm a Leafs fan. It's not because I'm a Leafs fan. It's not because I'm a Leafs fan.
It's not, is it?
Came up with the stat. He has 8 penalty minutes. 8. That's 4 penalties.
Doesn't mean he's not cocky.
It's amazing. It's amazing. Like I've obviously Chell 20. You could see that because control. That's video game number. 8 penalty minutes. That's insane.
Okay, next one is the Masterton
Exactly.
Trophy. Is the player who best exemplified, like overcame something while in pursuit of hockey. I forget. So Oscar Lindblom, he overcame cancer. Just beat cancer recently. Actually, we discussed that in a previous episode. Stephen Jones, do you remember what he did? I know I saw it, and I can't remember his story exactly, so I don't want to say it and be wrong. And then we know Bobby Ryan overcame his alcoholism, came back, scored that Hattie against Vancouver, and then other than that, didn't have a great season. But he overcame his alcoholism after he left in November of this past season. So for me, but are you looking up Stephen Jones
Yeah,
here?
just go ahead. Keep going. Go ahead.
But my pick for the Bill Masterton Trophy would be Bobby Ryan. I've said this before, also in another episode. So yeah, that's my pick.
For me, the Masterton Trophy is going to Oscar Lindblom.
Yeah.
He beat cancer.
Yeah.
And I think the team kind of rallied around him as like a rally cry. Like Oscar Strong was like a huge marketing scheme, I guess, to get more word about how this condition was going. And obviously it worked. Beat cancer. So hopefully you can see him back on the ice very, very soon. The Jack Adams Award finalist, like we've said, is for Best Coach of the Year. My pick to win it is John Tortorella for the Columbus Blue Jackets because I think everybody gave that team a write-off for this year. Like they're just going to suck. They were going to be like bottom feeders, lottery pick. But they're in the play-in. They're there. And like you obviously lost Breadman, Artemi Panarin. You lost Sergei Bobrovsky. And you've seen the evolution of a great goaltender in the name of Elvis Merzlikins.
Yeah.
Torts he's a winner, man. He's a winner.
I would have to pick Alain Vigneault for the Philadelphia Flyers. They've had an very underrated season, and now they're a top 4 team for that round robin in the playoffs. So it's surprising. I think a lot of people didn't expect them to finish as high as they did. Obviously, the last few seasons have been like a rocky road for them. They hire Alain Vigneault. He comes in, changes his team around. They're playing pretty good hockey. They have our goaltender now, Carter Hart. He's performing, and all their players are performing. So, yeah, my pick's Vigneault.
Ted Lindsay, which is the MVP voted by your peers, a.k.a. the players. My pick is the New York Rangers forward, the Breadman, Artemi Panarin. Had a stellar season, 96 or 98 points. I can't remember off the top of my head. But should have been 100 points. You're obviously going to play a full 82-game season. And he kind of elevated everyone around him. Like Mika Zibanejad had a very great year, scoring 41 goals.
Very good.
I think that team would be way worse without Panarin. Like you see Draisaitl, obviously you have McDavid. So I don't really see how he can be put into the – obviously had a great year statistically, but you're also playing beside the best player in the world. And Nathan McKinnon, again, you have great players around you too. So I think Artemi Panarin should be the winner of the Ted Lindsay Award.
Mine is Nathan McKinnon. And why I say Nathan McKinnon, when you look at the stats for the Colorado Avalanche, Nathan McKinnon has 93 points, 35 goals, and 58 assists, leading both categories, obviously. The next player below him is rookie Cale Makar in points, which is 50 points still. So he has a 43-point advantage over his next teammate. I think he carries his team. His team, again, is a top 4 team playing the round robin. And they would definitely not be as good as they are without Nathan McKinnon. He's still 22 years old, and he's performing on such a high level. Obviously Leon Draisaitl, we don't want to write off his season. He had a great season, 110 points. He's also playing with Connor McDaddy. But yeah, I'd have to say Nathan McKinnon for the MVP this season.
We both have the same pick for the Vezina, so I'll let you explain since you're the goalie.
Okay, well, Connor Hellebuck's just Connor Hellebuck. This guy is kind of insane, in the head.
Depending on who you ask.
But he gets I have a good story actually after explaining this. But yeah, he's just been playing very good hockey for past few seasons, and this year that he's finally in that talk for the best goaltender, as he should be. Winnipeg, great team. They have good players in Patrick Laine, Kyle Connor, Mike Scheifele, but they don't have that good goaltender in back of the net. Then they're not where they are today. Good story actually. So my friend Jake Eagles, his cousin, is Eric Odell. So he played for Team Canada when it was the amateur team. He also made a brief. He played some time in with Winnipeg actually. That's where he first got drafted to after getting drafted from Sudbury. Made his way around the league in Ottawa, Buffalo, and then went to play in the KHL. So he had a pretty good hockey career, still has a good hockey career. But he talked to Connor Hellebuck. He knew Connor Hellebuck, and he said 100% Connor Hellebuck could be one of the weirdest guys you ever meet. And I've heard other players say this as well. So goalies meant something else.
Yeah, goalies are just I don't know. You get to be out there just to stand and take pucks.
Yeah, just take those rockets. Imagine just getting a clapper from Shea Weber and you're just ready to go. You're ready to face it.
Exactly, like you expected.
You're crazy.
The last one, Calder Trophy, which is for Rookie of the Year. I think of the same pick as this one as well, as Colorado Avalanche defenseman Cale Makar, an absolute stud Canadian boy. I don't know if he should be up for Rookie of the Year because of how great he played in the playoffs last year, but hey, you should get it. Second on the team in points, like you've already mentioned. I believe 54 he's got. He's the best defenseman on the team. And he's 19, 20 years old?
Yeah, he's our age, and he's destroying that. He's a big part of that team now in his first season. So yeah, I think he totally deserves it as well. Oh, so yeah. So now we're going to go into the NBA. Yeah. I thought it was Jay. But no, we're going to get into some basketball. To kick things off, we have Zion Williamson. Like we said before, players are leaving the bubble for family emergencies. The first player to do it is Zion, to deal with an emergency family matter. He does plan on rejoining the team in Orlando, so obviously he'll have to quarantine when he comes back. A couple players get tested positive for COVID-19 in Russell Westbrook and Eric Bledsoe. They both test positive, so they'll have to go quarantine as well.
They're both not in the bubble, so.
Yeah, Russell Westbrook and James Harden, both of them for the Houston Rockets didn't travel to the bubbles, so they weren't even there yet. Michael Beasley for the Nets says he won't return to the Nets after testing positive for coronavirus.
Just signing.
Yeah, so a lot of players now for the Nets not being able to play, which is tragic for them, but not for other teams. The Raptors guard Norman Powell condemns the NBA for not having more of a selection on what to have on the back of jerseys for the restart. Same thing Jaylen Brown and other players were talking about. Powell calls approved social justice statements cookie cutter. What do you think about this statement?
Yeah,
Raps fan.
I think you should have whatever you want on the back of your jersey, right?
Yeah, as long as it's not provocative.
NBA players are going to go out of the way to make anything terrible about a very serious issue.
Yeah.
So I think they should have whatever they want. They should just bring it to the commish or whoever approves it to approve it, and then go from there. I don't think it's that big of an issue.
Yeah.
I guess it is.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know why it's such a big issue, but if you see more players start to have some backlash against it, maybe they'll change it, but we'll wait and see. Something we like to call
the snitch line.
The snitch hotline. Something Jay is kind of sometimes is just as they just finally used it. The first person that's finally used it, obviously it's anonymous, so we don't know who did it, but we do know who was getting stitched on, and that is Lakers center Dwight Howard. And he was reported for not wearing a mask in the bubble. He was just walking around outside. He said
I'm
that
sorry. I was just reading your point here, like alongside the hotline here. You have Rudy Gobert says a lot of his tip hotline is sort of petty, and if I could just illustrate what you said before that
yeah.
is shut the fuck up, COVID spreader.
Yeah, like we'll get to that. Well, let's get to that now. Rudy also said, "Oh, the anonymous tip hotline is sort of petty."
Oh
Blah blah
man.
blah. And I said, "Yeah, well, shut the hell up, man. You are the reason the season's over. You went around, touched every single mic, and thought COVID was a joke. So you have no say. You can't say anything." Oh, I read into more what he was talking about, and he was like, "Oh yeah, obviously we have to have more respect for everyone and blah blah blah." I'm like, just stop talking. Just shut up. Shut up. Don't want to hear from Rudy. I already hate you before COVID. Just don't stop. Clippers, Montrezl Harrell will leave the bubble due to a family emergency. But he'll come back as well. So hopefully he's back in time, and hopefully his family's doing okay. Obviously, with these family emergencies, you don't know. Maybe some families are getting COVID, and they just don't want to disclose that. Obviously, so hopefully everyone's staying safe for these players who are leaving. Steph Curry plans to host an annual PGA Tour golf tournament. So it would take place at TPC Harding Park in San Francisco, which is the site of the 2020 PGA Championship next month. The debut of the event would reportedly happen in September of 2021. The contract would last for 5 years. And as a result, TPC Harding would not be allowed to host the 2026 President's Cup. I think it'd be pretty cool to have this happen, don't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Like,
no
come
doubt
on.
about it.
Steph Curry hosting a golf tournament? Are you kidding?
Yeah,
He's
and
not that
he's
bad of a
not
golfer
bad.
himself.
Exactly. He's
He's
not
a
that bad
scratch
of a
golfer.
golfer. Yeah,
Played in the Corn
exactly.
Ferry Tour, which is a tier lower than the PGA Tour, so he can swing it pretty good.
Yeah, I remember seeing some clips of him hitting the ball, and he's not that bad. And then to end it off, with not a lot of NBA news, but to end it off, Victor Oladipo says there's a strong possibility that he might play because after his injury and everything, he's still recovering. But who knows? We don't know. He said, I'm getting better by the day, so we'll take it day by day. So there's not, he says strong possibility, but basically it's day by day. I'll be back. Maybe, maybe not.
Get to the footy fix. Real Madrid won against Villarreal to win their 34th La Liga title. Wow, that was a mouthful. Ending Barcelona's championship reign. Karim Benzema scored twice in a 2-1 win, one being a penalty shot. So we'll get more, not much soccer this week, but in 2 weeks it's the return of the Champions League.
And that's
Best league
the
in
biggest.
football.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely get more soccer in the weekly recap. But MLS's back tournament is in full effect. TFC beating Montreal Impact 4-2.
I think it was 4-3, no?
No. Maybe it was. No,
I think it was
4-3, 4-2.
4-3.
Either or. Absolute stud of a player in the making right now. TFC striker Ako Akinola is getting a hat trick. Supposed to be taking the place right now of star striker Josie Altidore. If any USA soccer fans and TFC fans know how good Josie Altidore has been for the Reds in his tenure there. Akinola plays under the American flag, being born in Detroit, was raised in Brampton. So obviously Canadians like myself would love to have Akinola on squad. But he does play under the American flag. But hey, maybe TFC could persuade him back. Cause I'm sure he's got a Canadian passport. He has to. He's from Brampton.
And then to end it off this week, we have some golf news, more Tiger news. So he returns at the Memorial this week, and he just made the cut at 2 over.
Thanks to Bryson DeChambeau's 10.
Yeah, that was the
15.
quintuple bogey. Tiger now sits at 1 over. He said that he has some back problems for round one, so his injuries are coming back.
I think that's to be expected, though, right? Like he's only played once, and that was that unreal, the match part 2.
Yeah.
At Medalist in Florida. So, and he played well at that. He thought he was the best golfer there. So I think it's probably to be expected. Like you haven't played golf in 2 months, and you got to work some kinks out. So.
And getting older, obviously there's going to be some problems. So.
Absolutely.
You can expect that.
Yeah, come on. Like I have problems. I'm 20 years old.
Exactly.
This brings the end to the weekly recap. We're going to be starting next week with the fantasy football Fridays. So every week we're going to be bringing our rankings for quarterback, receiver, tight end, your flex, your running backs, and your defense for your fantasy football lineups to start off the year. So next week we're going to go division by division for every week until we get week 1 football. So pretty pumped. Hopefully you guys can use it for your fantasy drafts. Like I know I will because I'm just a fantasy god. So, I take calls. I'll take texts. Should I draft this guy? Should I draft that guy? We're open. Hotlines are open.
But that means no more Twisted Tuesdays for a little while.
So carry on. Don't have to worry for us. You can have a drink on us every Twisted Tuesday. Don't worry. Don't cry. It's okay. You'll make it through it. I know it's tough right now, COVID. I know you need drinks. Keep you sane.
Only way you get through Tuesday is us. We understand.
Just have a drink on us on Twisted Tuesday. Maybe the Instagram store will be live just for fun for Twisted Tuesday. Maybe just to keep the tradition alive.
Yeah.
It's in the
That'd be
works.
pretty fun. Yeah.
But to keep us happy, road to 100. Send us to picks. Subscribe. NBA 2K21 giveaway still in effect. Just subscribe, screenshot, send to IG. We love you for it. Anyone who's done it right now, thank you. We appreciate it. And we'll see you guys on Friday. Signing off. It's Jay Merch.
Egg money, Malcolm, Comb, Daddy.
This episode of Unfinished Business is presented by Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. It's free.
There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer.
Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more.
You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership.
And it is everything you need to make a podcast in one place.
Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.